Hi, my name is Marion Rose and welcome to another video in my Aware Parenting series. Now, if you don't know about Aware Parenting, I recommend having a look at Aletha Salter's website. She's the one who designed it. Her website's at awareparenting.com. You can also come and have a look at mine, which is marionrose.net. Now, today I'd like to talk a little bit about the words that we can use in Aware Parenting, the words that we might find useful. I posted something on the Aware Parenting Facebook group this morning. I said, I'm making some videos today, what would you like me to make them on? And one of them was, I wrote it down, words to use with children, actually examples of kind of usual scenarios with children and babies and what kinds of things might be helpful to say. Now, I really want to preface this with what I think is the most helpful thing is for you to say things that really feel natural for you, that resonate for you. So these are just ideas for you to play with, to kind of spark ideas, to see if they resonate with. It's most important that you feel comfortable with them. If you're speaking to a child and it kind of feels like unnatural or kind of forced, I really invite you to drop those and find your own way. So let me think of some of the things that we could talk about. Well, how about if your child is having a tantrum and you're just there listening and you're wanting to be present with them? I often think we actually say probably too much. We tend to speak a lot more, and I think what's really important is the quality of our presence. But if your child's having a tantrum, I often really like to keep it simple, like, I'm here, sweetheart, I'm right here with you. I see that you're upset. I'm listening. Those are usually the kinds of things that I find that I like to say. We're really just wanting to communicate that we are here, that we're right there with them, that we're not going to leave them. We hear them, we understand. And the most important thing in Aware Parenting is empathy, so that our child or our baby really has that sense of being got, being understood. I'm sure you've experienced that yourself and how amazing it is when you really have that sense of someone being with you and really getting you. So when you're wanting to think of what to say, I would even actually invite you to do that, is what do you think in that moment would help your baby or child experience really being got in that kind of understanding way. So yeah, just, I'm right here. Seems like you're upset. I often, when a child's in a big feeling, I'll often avoid making it really specific or talking a lot about the feeling. That can really take them out of the feeling. So just really being upset, I think, is quite a nice general word. When they're not upset and you're wanting to help them build their emotional vocabulary, I think it can be really helpful to use really specific emotional words, so they really have the nuances of feelings. But when they're in a tantrum or a big cry, I think keeping it much more general can be really helpful. And even actually not even using the upset word, but actually just telling them what we see. So you really wanted, I don't know, whatever it is, you really wanted to play with that toy more, or you really just really what we see. You really wanted to play with that toy more, you really wanted to stay at the park longer, so we're just really honouring with empathy what it is that they wanted, or what it is that they actually experienced. Sometimes that can be just really helpful, is actually being focused on exactly what has happened. Because we never really know exactly what our children are experiencing on the inside. So when we keep it to what we've observed, that can actually really help them, rather than us kind of thinking that we know what they're feeling and actually they're feeling something different. What about if you're with your baby and you're holding your baby in your arms and all their needs are met and they're just having a cry, releasing the stress from the day, and they're just being with them and being present with them. So again, I really like to just keep it really simple. Through my years of being with my children when they're babies and just being present with them and listening to them, I started off with a lot more words, and as time went on, I just got much more simple. So again, for me, it was really simple. I'm right here, sweetheart. I'm here with you. I'm listening. I'm right here. Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah. So often just more the kind of, even the just really mirroring with our faces. I'm right here, right here. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I'm here, sweetheart. I'm listening. Just really, really, really that sense. But I think what babies and children again just really need that sense that we're really there, and just communicating that in quite simple ways I think can be so helpful. One little piece of mirroring. That can be beautiful for older kids too. Like I really like to say, you know, my son, if he's feeling frustrated, he's 9, and I really like to mirror that to him. You're really frustrated right now. I can really see. When he's actually clearly showing he's frustrated, actually mirroring back in our face and our body language that we really get them again. We really accept that feeling. We're right there with them in that feeling, and that can be really helpful for them. So those are being with crying. What about broken cookie moments? So as you probably know, a broken cookie moment is when, so Aletha talks about that in Tears and Tantrums. Broken cookie is when we get home and a child wants a cookie and there's only one left and it's broken. They start having a big cry about the broken cookie, the cookie's broken. And we can hold in mind that probably that the bigger reaction to something that seems quite small, and at other times they probably be quite happy to eat the cookie. It doesn't actually taste any different that it's broken. That it's indicating that they're just using that as a pretext to let out upset feelings. They're needing to have a cry, and they're finding that as a pretext to let the crying out, as we do. You know, if we've had a big hard day and our partner comes home and says one thing, and we're like, it's not the one thing. That's just kind of like oh great, I've got an opportunity now to let out all the feelings about all the other things. So what kind of things might we say there that are helpful there? So I've talked before about loving limits in other videos. Please go and watch those if you'd like to hear more. So I talk about loving limits here, which is probably something like, so it's really pairing the empathy with the limit, which is you really well, actually just empathy there might be really helpful. You really want a cookie that isn't broken, and the cookie's broken. So it's pairing the empathy. You really want the cookie that isn't broken, and the limit, which is the cookie's broken. The limit is there in the world already. So we're pairing those things. When we talk about loving limits for other things, such as maybe hitting their sibling, so again, it's the same thing I often find, is that I usually would say something like, I won't let you hit your brother, and actually stopping them if necessary. Won't hit. So again, that's the limit first. The limit is more important to put it in place first there where there's something about to happen, and then giving the empathy. But I'm right here. I see that you're upset. I'm right here, and I'm not going to let you hit your brother if that's just about to happen. So again, you can keep pairing those. So people will often say things like, we don't hit in our family. And I often recommend not saying that kind of thing. If you have, please, no judgments, just to try out whether this resonates with you. But what I often think is, if a child has hit and we're saying we don't hit in our family, well, the logical thing is then they're not a part of the family, or they're like, well, where does that put me in? Because I have hit, and if we don't hit in our family, where am I? It can actually lead to confusion. Another thing that parents might often say is something like, it's not okay to hit. So again, I recommend not saying that if this resonates with you, which is because the reason they've hit is because they're feeling upset, they're feeling either disconnected, they're feeling jealous, they're feeling powerless. And if we say it's not okay to hit, children will often receive that about themselves as something not okay with me. What we're really aiming to do in those moments is to make connection. And the way we can make connection most is through using words like I, rather than it's. It's can often be a bit like, well, again, how can they relate to us when we're saying it's not okay to? Where is there someone to connect with? When they're behaving like that, they're often actually needing more connection. So if we can come in and connect, again, if they're about to hit, we can come in and say, I won't let you do that, or I'm not willing for you to do that. to the I. It allows them to, it invites them to connect with us, because there's an I coming in to actually prevent that happening, which is also inviting connection in. And the empathy afterwards as well isn't a connecting thing. You know, I see that you're upset, or I'm right here with you, or you want to come and tell me what's going on, whatever it is. So using some way of actually connecting can really help. And the other thing, of course, about hitting is if we're wanting to invite them to actually cry instead of the kind of acting out behaviour, they need more connection in order to be able to cry. They need to actually feel connected to let those feelings out. So speaking with I words can actually help them feel more connected, so they're more likely to have the big cry and then feel calm and relaxed, so they don't hit afterwards. Whereas if we say it's not okay, it's not likely to lead to more connection, it's not likely to lead to a release, it's actually likely to lead to more disconnection between you and your child. You're probably going to feel, if we're telling ourselves it's not okay, we're more likely to get angry, frustrated, they're going to feel a bit lost, and it's actually more likely to lead to more, think of the word, more disconnection, more conflict. That was the word I was looking for. So those are just a few suggestions. As I say, they're just ways that I like to say it. I'm sure there are words that you find that you enjoy, and please, if it's working for you, keep using it. So it's really, you know, just listening to feelings, loving limits, just being as empathic as possible. Just really, I think the direction would always be just to put yourself in your child's shoes and imagine what they most want to hear. So another one actually comes to mind is if they're feeling really upset and they're saying, go away, I hate you, go away. It's again to put yourself in their shoes. And if I do that and imagine I'm 5 and I'm really upset, okay, not 5 and I'm actually concentrating on something, it's 5 I'm really upset, is actually, I might be saying go away, but actually what I really want is my parents to stay there and listen to me while I just express all this. So in that situation, the words might be something like, again, it's kind of like a loving limit. It's like, I hear that you really want me to go away, sweetheart, and I'm not going to leave you on your own while you're feeling upset. And they might keep saying, go away. You really want me to go away, and I want to stay with you when you're upset. And yeah, I really hear. So you see that I love loving limits because it's really holding that, what we call the balance of attention, what Aletha describes so beautifully, which is the key to healing through crying and laughing, is that balance of attention, that connection on the one hand and the stimulus for the feelings on the other. And we're always kind of finding that point where I call it the sweet spot in the middle, where Aletha talks about the balance of attention where the feelings can come out. So can I think of any other things that might be helpful? Yeah, so just listening into trusting yourself, speaking what feels kind of natural and enjoyable, and in your own kind of language, in your own way of speaking things, and just try it. It's experimenting. I always think experiment, see how it feels, see the response, and then just keep adjusting. To me, aware parenting is like a continual, like, try something out, observe what happens, and then keep adjusting, keep fine-tuning. So I hope you found this useful, helpful. If you would like to watch more of my Aware Parenting series or my other videos, please subscribe to my channel and come and have a look at my website, which is marianrose.net.